I've learned a lot since photographing my very first wedding day, and some of it the hard way. So, if you're just starting in wedding photography or you're thinking about getting started in wedding photography, these 10 tips are going to help save you so much time and stress. Hey, my name is Leah. I'm a wedding photographer and educator, and if you are looking to build something meaningful, you are in the right place. So, let's get into it. So, number one is the reality of wedding photography. Wedding days are harder than you think just because they are a long day. They can be really fast paced. And if you're anything like me, you like to give it your absolute all, especially knowing this is not something that they can redo. So, you need to be mentally, physically, and creatively prepared for the day. So, leading up to a wedding day, you can get physically prepared for it. Some people like to work out, some people like to walk a lot. Whatever it is that you like to do to make sure that you are feeling good going into that day, then you can do that leading up to your wedding day or continuously, which includes making sure that you drink enough water and you eat enough as well, because I have had that bite me in the butt. So make sure that you're feeling good physically to go into the wedding day. You also need to be mentally prepared. So really getting in that headspace, going through all of your notes. I also bring copies of things, but kind of like looking over your pre-wedding questionnaire and just making sure that you know everything as you go into the day. I also like to go into it creatively prepared, just getting inspired by your couple, inspired by their wedding day, inspired by their colors, their themes, and what is important to them. Also, having a good connection with your couple really makes a huge difference, not only for you, but also for the couple as well, just because you both can feel so comfortable and it can feel like you're a friend going into the wedding day instead of just another vendor. Which actually leads me into number two, which is building trust with your couple. Trust really is everything on a wedding day. It really is such an important factor. And if your couple doesn't trust you, it really can cause stress on the day of. So let's talk about 3 ways that we can build trust prior to the wedding day. So first is you could have an in-person consultation or you could do a Zoom meeting. And this just allows them time to get to know you, allows you time to get to know your couple, their personalities, their priorities, and just kind of get to talk to them and know what their wedding day is going to be like and how they are and maybe how their friends are too. You also can talk about what your process is and how you photograph weddings, everything that you do when you'll arrive, what you bring, everything they would need to know. Second is you can offer a complimentary engagement session in your packages. And this is actually what I do. I just think it's so important to be able to really get in person with your couple and really get to know them and have them kind of feel more comfortable in front of your camera as well. Because this way they kind of get a feel for how you photograph and you also kind of get a feel for how they take portraits and how comfortable they are and what they like and what they don't like and what their priorities are as well. You also get to know their personality, which is just, it's so huge, and kind of hear about their day, talk to them about it, talk to them about their friends again. All of these things are so important on the wedding day. And last is you could send a detailed pre-wedding day questionnaire. This allows them to fill this out and kind of make sure that you know everything that you would need to know and kind of tell you about what all their priorities are and the things that they love and don't love. And in turn, this makes them feel more comfortable and also makes them feel like they trust you because you know everything, right, that they want you to know. So this leads to building trust. And if you don't already have a pre-wedding day questionnaire, I actually made one that I use with all of my couples that I love, and it's a free downloadable link in the description below. Okay, third thing is gear and everything that you need to have on the wedding day. So first thing I'm going to mention is you have to have backups of everything. Make sure you have camera backups. You would never want to be heading into a ceremony with one camera and then have something happen to your camera during the ceremony and then not be able to finish taking photos of the rest of the ceremony. So you could be missing out on their first kiss if you didn't have a camera for the rest of the ceremony or the rest of the reception. So I would definitely make sure that you have a backup camera with you, as well as if it's possible, I would pick a camera body that has dual card slots so that you can photograph on 2 SD cards at once. This is just another form of insurance for you so that you know that you're not losing anybody's photos. If something were to happen to your first SD card, you would like to have that second one that it's also recording to. Which leads me into having extra SD cards. Make sure that you have lots of SD cards on because you just never know. Next is lens backup. So just like a camera body, something could happen to your lens. Lenses do malfunction, or if you were to drop one or if one were to get hit, you'd want to make sure that you did have another lens to be able to use. Next is flash backups. I like to bring backups of my flashes, especially because I like to do off-camera flash. So I like to have extras so that I know I've got enough. I also like to bring lots of extra batteries for both my camera and my flash. And I would invest in a good camera bag. So personally, when I first started, I had a leather camera bag. I actually still have it. It's beautiful, but it is really heavy. So if you'd like to save your bag, I would definitely go with a more lightweight, maybe canvas type camera bag or a rolling bag, because a rolling bag is absolutely wonderful. That's actually the step that I went to. I love having my roller bag, so I would definitely recommend that. Next is wear comfortable shoes. Make sure that you have good shoes that you know that you can be on your feet for 8+ hours in, and that you can run around in, walk around in, and everything you need to do to get those photos. And 4, you need to know how to command a group and be able to do it with kindness. You have to be able to know how to lead and be able to command a group with kindness on a wedding day. Now, if you're thinking, oh, I'm introverted, I won't be able to do this. Yes, you can. You can do this, and you will do this, and you'll do amazing at it. But there is a balance, because you don't want to be just bossing people around. You do want to be able to do it with confidence, kindness. You need to be able to be efficient and somebody that they enjoy listening to on the wedding day. So for example, when it comes to family photos, I like to say very upbeat and excited, but I also command the group with confidence, and I try to stay as efficient as possible. This really makes a big difference on a wedding day. It really impresses your family that you're photographing, or the bridal party and the couple and all of the vendors that are working around you, as well as it keeps you on the timeline. Because if you're not able to command that group, then the group usually tries to take charge, which is something you do not want. When that happens, it usually does take a lot longer to get through a set of photos. So you want to be able to have that list ahead of time from the pre-wedding day questionnaire, as well as be able to command that group. And number 5 is mastering flash photography. Really, when it comes to wedding days, you do need to know how to use flash. There really isn't much way around it. Usually on a wedding day, there is always a moment that isn't going to have beautiful natural light and that you will need to use flash for. So what I would start with is I would learn how to use your on-camera flash first, how to do direct flash, and how to bounce your flash. Then I would learn how to balance flash with natural light as well, and absolutely off-camera flash. Off-camera flash is a huge game changer. It is something that feels very intimidating at first, but it's actually quite easy once you kind of get it down and you've done it for yourself a few times, and it makes a huge difference in your reception photos. And 6 is the power of a second photographer. I always book all of my weddings with a second photographer as a part of the package. So just like the complimentary engagement session, I also include the second photographer. So when I first started, I actually didn't do this. I thought that I would be better off doing it myself. I thought that it would be more stressful to have to find a second photographer than just to do it myself. But to be honest, it really is so important that you have a second photographer for a lot of reasons. One is they are a backup if something were to go wrong. So if something were to happen to you on the wedding day, or you were sick, or whatever it is, they are a backup for you. And second is it's kind of like an insurance for you and for your couple as well. And this actually goes along with number 1 too, but just in case something were to happen, or if you were to miss something, or whatever it is, you have that second person that's also photographing the wedding day. This also allows you to capture more moments. So if you were focused on one thing on the wedding day, maybe your second photographer is focused on something else. So if you're focused on the couple, maybe they're focused on guest reactions, and you can cover different angles. So it could be different angles of the first kiss, or of the ceremony, or whatever it is. Those different angles can can be amazing. And last but not least, it makes it so you're not solo on a wedding day. It gives you somebody to kind of just be there with, which is always a plus. And 7, we're going to talk about wedding workflows leading up to the wedding day. So I like to have a wedding workflow leading up to the wedding day, and a lot of it actually is automatic for me just because it streamlines it. However, it doesn't necessarily have to all be automatic. Not all of mine is automatic, but it allows you to kind of initiate those check-ins with your couple leading up to the day. I also really love to plan my timeline for the wedding day in advance early on, like right after they book, and then kind of adjust it from there. This helps just kind of save time. It also helps give the couple an idea of your timeline for your wedding day, and then it also saves you from them making the timeline and you not having enough time as well. So that is a part of my wedding workflow. I also have a wedding guide for my couples, so it kind of lays out all of the knowledge that I'd like them to know, all of the ways that I work within this guide, and it really helps on a wedding day if they kind of know everything that you want them to know ahead of time. This could be about natural light in the getting ready area, or it could be about veils, or it could be about colors for engagement sessions. It could be any of those things. So I have that right in my workflow. And I have the check-ins after, the thank yous, the can you tell me more about your experience? All of these things are so important. So I would create a wedding workflow right from the get-go if you can. And 8 is the timeline is everything. Your timeline on a wedding day is so important. So when you make your timeline, you want to make sure that you have enough time to accurately and not stressfully photograph all of the things that need to be photographed on a wedding day. So make sure that you add enough time for details and prep. Make sure that you add enough time for couples portraits. Make sure that you add enough time for family and wedding party portraits. Whatever is a part of their wedding day and they prioritize, you want to make sure that you have enough time for those things. And make sure that you work with your couple so they understand how much time each of these things are going to need as well. So that kind of goes back to having a wedding guide and that workflow, and also preparing that timeline early. You would never want to go into a wedding day and let's say your couple really prioritizes family portraits and you go into it and your timeline only allows you 5 minutes. I would never want that. Or maybe they really prioritize couples portraits and you only gave those 5 minutes and now they only have 5 minutes worth of photos to hang in their home. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do a lot in 5 minutes because you absolutely can. However, if you have more time and it's less stressful, then you're able to really create that creative magic that you'd like to give them on their wedding day. It's what they deserve and it's also what you deserve. 9 is build vendor relationships. Now, this might be controversial to some, but I believe in sending all of my vendors photos as quickly as I can. And why? Because I believe that this leads to more referrals. It also leads to creating those vendor connections and those friendships, because if you're giving them photos right away, then they can use those within their business as well, and they're more likely to want to work with you again. So building those vendor relationships is so important, and I would absolutely do everything you can to be kind to them, to be respectful to them, to help them on a wedding day, to send them photos, whatever you got to do. I would build those friendships and relationships. You can also tag them on social media after, and this makes a difference as well. I would do everything that you would want done for you with them. And last but not least is number 10, and that's always arrive early. I always plan to arrive 30 to 45 minutes early. And this is because you never know if you're going to hit traffic on the wedding day or if something's going to happen. So you want to make sure you have that extra time to arrive on time and not throw off your timeline. Also, it's not a bad thing to show up early. It's actually a great thing. It gives you time to kind of walk around the venue, get used to it, see the places that you want to use for the day. Even if you've been there before, things could be different now, or maybe depending on the season, different flowers could be in bloom, or there could be different looks, or the sun could set in a different space. So kind of being able to get there and visualize it all, look around is so important too. I also love to show up early and kind of look through my pre-wedding day questionnaire again and just think about how I can creatively be ready for the couple on the day and what their priorities are. And if you're early, it also shows professionalism and it helps your couple feel comfortable comfortable with you and to trust you as well. It's really a great way to start your wedding day. All right. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by any of this, don't worry because I've got you. I've got a pre-wedding day questionnaire that I created that I use with all of my couples, and it's a free downloadable link in the description below. So that's it for today. But the takeaway is that wedding photography is not easy, but if you're prepared, it's one of the most rewarding jobs you could have. And I would love to know in the comments, what is one thing that you wish that you knew before you photographed your first wedding? And if this was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. I would love to keep putting out videos for you weekly. I'm going to be sharing all of my photography and wedding photography tips here, and keep building what you love. And I will see you next time. Bye.